So I thought it'd be fun to talk all about establishing new habits that actually stick in the new year and breaking down goals that come the following year. They actually are still in place and you're still able to carry through with them. Hey everyone, I'm Melissa. I am brand new to YouTube. This is my second official video, so I wanted to do a little recap. I am a mom to a sweet boy who is 2 years old and soon to be baby girl who is due in March. But I'm also a registered holistic nutritionist, certified nutrition practitioner, and a previous nurse. So I have a love for women's hormone health and wellness and healthy living, low tox living, recipes, and a little homemaking. They're all things that you will probably find on this channel. But today we're going to be diving into how to establish new habits that will stick in the year 2024. So let's jump in, and I would love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. So I just want you guys to get comfy and cozy, grab your favorite beverage. Today I have just some hot water and lemon, which is so good for your digestion and for your liver. So grab whatever you fancy, hot chocolate, tea, coffee, anything, and we will go into how to break down habits that actually stick and how to set goals for the new year. So I love the quote by James Clear in the book Atomic Habits, which if you haven't read this book, it is one of my most favorite books out there, and I highly encourage you to do so. You can just buy it from Amazon, your local bookstore, wherever, but it's Atomic Habits by James Clear. And one of the quotes that he stated in the book is that bad habits happen time and time again, not because you don't want to change, but because you don't have systems in place to make the change. And that has really stuck with me because I felt like every time I created a goal or made a New Year's resolution, it always just fell short for years. And I feel like last year was the first year that I really implemented these strategies, and that was when I actually read the book. But when it comes down to it, I think we need to shift our perspective when establishing habits. Instead of writing down like a to-do list or goals that we want to set or breaking them down, I think we need to shift it from focusing on the habits we want to achieve, but who we actually want to become. And I think when we shift our viewpoint to who we want to become rather than solely on the habits and the to-do list, it really empowers us to carry through who we want to be every single day. And that is where I would like to introduce the cue, routine, and reward system. I have learned this from the book from James Clear, and he lays it out beautifully. But basically what it means is that you have a cue. So instead of attaching a habit to a time or place, you're attaching it to something that you already do every single day. So behavior that you already do every single day. So for instance, if you brush your teeth every single day, you can attach a new habit onto that. Or if you, I don't know, wash dishes every single morning, you can also attach a new habit onto that. And then after that, it comes the routine. So it ends up becoming just part of your daily routine. It becomes on autopilot. You don't even need to think about it. It just happens right after that automatic behavior that you're already doing every single day. And then after that, you have your reward. So what is your reward for carrying out that habit, and why do you want to carry it out? So if I break it down a little bit more, I want to go into how I set goals and what my goals are for this year. And I can kind of go through the process of the cue, routine, reward with you, and it might make a little bit more sense. Okay, so to kind of break down the cue, routine, and reward system a little bit easier to digest is I want to go over how first I write down my goals and how I break them down and put them into this little system. So back in my nursing days, we used to make goals based on what was called SMART goals, which was specific, measurable, attainable, relative, and timely. And I think many of us have probably heard this way of making goals in the past, but for me personally, this does not work for me. It's not a method that actually is relatable in real life and for me to actually achieve goals. So one way I do it and look at it is that I break my year into quarters. So every 3 months is a new quarter, 4 quarters. So the first quarter, I am focusing on work, and then the second quarter, I know we will be having a newborn baby, and a lot of it will be focused on postpartum and just spending time with my family. And then the third quarter will be kind of ramping up and reviving my fitness. And then the fourth quarter will be strongly focused on work again. And of course, this is in the most ideal world, and things will overlap when I'm placing my focus on work. Of course, family is still going to overlap into that, and that is totally okay. But I also like to make kind of my priorities. So those are the areas that I'm really focusing my attention to during those quarters. But I also like to write down what is most important to me. So of course, family and connecting with friends is on my top list year after year, and it's of most importance to me. But also spending time in nature and getting outside with my son and soon-to-be daughter is just as important as well. So I'm going to use that as an example. So we used to get outside quite a bit more than we do now, which I hate to admit that, but I definitely want it to be a goal of mine in the new year, is to get outside more and enjoy that fresh air. And it's so good for our hormones, which I have so much about hormones over on my Instagram too. But when it comes down to getting outside in nature, I want to break it down so it becomes just an everyday pattern in my life that I just achieve on autopilot. So when I go back to the cue routine reward, I'm going to attach it to brushing my teeth and finishing breakfast. So for instance, when we wake up, we brush our teeth and then we have breakfast, and right after breakfast, I'm going to get into this routine of putting on our shoes and going outside. So our cue is having breakfast, which we have every single day, and it's not attached to a time or place, because we could be at the grandparents, we could be at my friends, wherever we might be. If we're having breakfast, right after breakfast, we put on our shoes and we get outside. So that is the cue to establish that new habit, which will ultimately be a new goal of mine. And then that is the routine that we'll be carrying in place. And then the reward is that you just feel so good when you come back in from having fresh air. Our day is just energized, we're feeling happy. It just feels good to start the day off with the fresh air. So I hope that makes sense. Basically, I'm attaching a new behavior to a behavior that I am already implementing every single day. So let's make another example. If you want to improve your fitness and you want to start working out, but going to the gym is just unattainable right now in your current season, which for mini mamas, I totally get. So one way we could do that is every time you brush your teeth, after you brush your teeth and you put your toothbrush down on the counter, you do 10 squats or 10 calf raises or 10 tricep dips on your bathtub. Whatever it might be, you're attaching a behavior to another behavior that it will just eventually go on autopilot. We have covered the cue, routine, and reward system, and then how I break down my goals into quarters and what is most important to me, and then how can I put that into a habit and into an everyday behavior that goes onto autopilot. But I also want to address our environment. So our environment, I believe, can hold such an impact on the outcome of your goals and habits. So when establishing new habits for the new year or setting new goals, I really like to focus on the environment in which we are around. So if you are living in an apartment, a house, wherever you are, I encourage you to take a look around and just see, how does the environment make you feel? Does it bring you joy? Does it make you feel overwhelmed? Do you feel anxious looking around? Or do you feel happy and vitalized and energized? So this is where I'd like to introduce the endowment theory. And the endowment theory refers to how people value items that they already own more highly than if they didn't belong to them. So with the endowment theory, I encourage you, before you take that next thing and shove it into another closet when you're going through clutter, I encourage you to see and ask yourself, does this object bring me joy? Would I go out of my way to purchase this object if I didn't already have it? So for instance, if you are going through your clothes and your wardrobe and you have these favorite pair of jeans that you've held onto for 5 years, but you've never worn them, but you think, I really want to keep these. That's where the endowment effect can be at play, because you already have this pair of jeans, you hold a high value on them. But let's say if you were to go to the store and you saw the same pair of jeans, would you actually go out of your way to purchase them? And if the answer is no, or if they don't bring you joy, then we can just say, thank you for these jeans. Thank you for blessing me in this home with these, but it is time to move on and give them to someone else that will probably like them a little bit more, or whatever you want to do with them. But that is a way that I encourage you to look and reassess your environment when setting up new goals. Because for instance, if one of your goals is to make a beautiful breakfast every single morning, and you come downstairs and your kitchen is a disaster and you have no fresh food in sight, that can really challenge that new habit or that new behavior to carry out. So I think if we look around and go slowly between room by room and just ask yourself, how can this bring me more joy? And just really challenge the endowment effect. Thank you for taking the time out of your busy day to watch this video, and I hope it just brought you some inspiration and hopefully not any overwhelm, and maybe just a little new perspective when it comes to setting new goals for the new year, or having habits that stick for the new year. So again, thank you for watching, and leave a comment down below, and I would love if you liked and subscribed, and if there's anything else that you would love to hear about, please leave in the comments below. Have a great day. Bye.